Hi guys, it's Micah and welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be making baked mochi donuts. Mochi donuts have become a really popular trend recently, and if you've never had it, it's basically a donut with a really chewy center, and they come in all different kinds of flavors. If you've never tried it, I highly recommend trying it out or making this recipe. So let's get started. This is a really easy recipe to follow. It doesn't require too many ingredients, but you need to make sure you get the right ingredients. And first off, we're gonna start with 1 cup of glutinous rice flour. You have to make sure it's glutinous or else this mochi donut will not work. This is what gives the donuts a nice chewy texture. Then we're gonna add in 1/4 cup of tapioca starch. This just helps make the outside crunchy. We're gonna add 1/4 cup of sugar, 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and 3/4 cup of whole milk. And you basically just dump all the ingredients in the bowl and mix. So I'm mixing right now with a spatula, but you're gonna need to use a whisk after that so you can really get out all the clumps. Especially with that tapioca starch, it's gonna be really clumpy and kind of goopy, but you need to make sure you work through all of the lumps. That way you can have a really smooth batter. Okay, so I'm at this point right now where it's pretty smooth, but there are still some big lumps in there. So now I'm gonna switch to my whisk. So after whisking it really well, I basically have a really smooth batter, and it's gonna resemble pancake batter. And you wanna make sure you use this right away. You don't wanna let it sit, or else that starch is gonna settle to the bottom and it's gonna be really goopy again. So you have to whisk it again right before you use it. To make it easier to pour into my donut mold, I'm going to just pour it back into the spouted cup I'm using right here. So now I have a mini donut tin here. There's 12 mini donuts, and I sprayed it with some cooking spray so that the donuts won't stick. And now I'm just gonna pour in my batter into each cavity. Okay, so I set my oven to 350. And we're gonna pop that in for 20 minutes. So my donuts have finished baking in the oven, and I just took them out of the rack. They look like this, kind of like chicken rings, so they don't rise too much, but if you fill the cavities with more batter, it should rise a lot more, but this side is the nicer side. But I'm gonna put the glaze here to cover this up anyways. But I already tried one on its own, and it's so good. The texture is perfect. It's a little bit crunchy on the outside. The sweetness is perfect. So I think you guys will really enjoy this recipe still. So for my glaze, I'm just using a simple chocolate glaze, which I've used 1/3 cup of cocoa powder, 1/3 cup of powdered sugar, and about 4 teaspoons of whole milk, just until I get something thick enough that'll stay on the donut and kind of set a little bit. And I'm using really good cocoa powder. Don't use the sweetened one, or else it's not gonna be that great, but this is really good. I already tried it together, and it's nice and rich and dark. And in addition to that, I'm gonna be sprinkling some of them with these cacao nibs for a nice crunch. So basically, you just dip it in and wiggle it around. And sometimes take some practice to get the nice design. Kind of like this, but my glaze is a little too thick, but I want it to be like that so it doesn't run off. So you can always just use a spatula to kind of smoothen it out a little bit. And that's what I'm gonna be doing. These kind of remind me of the Keebler cookies. So just dip this in here. You can loosen up the glaze if you'd like, but this is more like a frosting. And before they set up too much, I'm gonna put some cacao nibs on them. The cacao nibs are nice and crunchy, and they're really healthy for you. They have a lot of fiber actually, which I didn't know, but they're really good because they have a lot of antioxidants. So really nutritious. I like to sprinkle these on my acai bowls, or I mean, this and chocolate together is really good. Like a good dark or semi-sweet chocolate. It's really good. Okay, so I have finished frosting them and putting the topping on them, so I'm gonna try it in front of the camera because the first one I tried, I forgot to film it because I was so excited. I'm gonna pick this one. So they kind of look like pizza bagels. So like I said, I didn't fill up my mold all the way, so that's why they're kind of flat. But if you fill it up all the way, they should come out a little bit more rounded on the top. But let's give it a try. I really like my frosting. It's really thick, so it's more like cupcake frosting. But these, I just frosted them, so they haven't set all the way. But I really like the flavor on it because it's not too sweet. And I love chocolate, but I only really like a deep chocolate flavor. I don't really like sweet chocolates. The cacao nibs are really good. They provide a nice crunch. And I think I nailed it with the texture on the inside. It's perfectly chewy, because the first time I made this, it was too chewy, kind of like really limp. But this can hold up on its own. So the crust is really good. It's crunchy. And the inside is, you'll definitely know this is a mochi donut. So this is my half-eaten donut, and you can tell the inside is nice and moist and chewy. And the topping really stays, but look at that inside with that chewy mochi. This is what you want in a mochi donut. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you haven't tried mochi donuts, I highly suggest buying it. If you're from the Bergen County area, you can find one in the Edgewater, Mitsuwa. I know they sell out sometimes, but try the mochi donuts there, and if not, just try making it on your own. It's super easy. Just throw all the ingredients in a bowl and pop it in the oven. And these are really good even without frosting, so I highly recommend it. It's a great twist on donuts. And yeah, let me know if you guys try the recipe. I'd love to hear what you guys think about it and how it turned out for you guys. Thanks for watching this video. Bye!